For those of you adult parents that may have a firearm in your homes, a gun, in other words, I want to admonish you to make sure or certain that you stay protected and that you protect the lives of your family, especially the young family, the children, that is, in your home, by securing your weapon appropriately. Now, there are many things that you can do to be safe in your home when you have a firearm. Now, oftentimes with law enforcement, they don't always offer a remedy or a help aid as to how you should govern your own home. You can even ask them, and oftentimes you won't get a real good answer at all. In other words, if you were to ask a police officer, how should I secure my weapon in my home? They might speak in generality, but it's really up to you, the parent, and how your own household is set up and what it's made up of as in terms of people in the home. Is it just adults? Is it just you? Or do you have small children or teenagers? What is the mental state of the people in the home? Do you have children that have anger issues? Do you have children that are dysfunctional? Do you have adults that are dysfunctional and have anger issues? Then this may be a subject that you might really want to sit down and muddle over in your minds, because once something has been done as it relates to that firearm where someone has been harmed or even fatally wounded, it's too late to say I'm sorry. As my mom used to say, it's too late to say I'm sorry. It's done. And you have to pay for your actions. You have to suffer the consequences. And there are consequences for everything that we do in life, good and bad. So here's where I'm getting at. If you have small children, 1 year old, 2, 3, 4, 5, all the way up until 16 years old, 17 years old, teenagers in your home, let's dismiss the idea of a child having anger issues, because I think that's sort of a no-brainer. If you have anyone in your home that can have a button pushed and they want to harm someone else in the home, and they are aware that you have a firearm, does it not stand to reason to you that you need to have that firearm secured? At the minimal, with a gun or trigger lock. And stop purchasing these cheap locks that can be pried off very easily. Expend some money for a good trigger lock. Expend some money for a good lock box or a good safe to secure your weapon in. Put the key, if it is a key lock, somewhere that's inconspicuous, that no one knows about but you. And don't tell the world about it. Don't tell all of your family about it. Especially don't tell other children about it, because children have a tendency, because of wanting to feel special and as if they are intelligent, of sharing your business. And if they share your business, especially with a relative or another child in the family, a sibling even, children have a tendency to remember those things. And they say, oh, my sister told me that the key to the gun safe is in this place. And that might be that child that don't need to know that. And so with that said, that child gets angry one day with a neighboring kid, with the school child. Someone is bullying on them at school, or even one of his or her siblings, and they go and seek that gun out. I'm sure you know that there's a lot of case history where children, brothers and sisters, have killed their siblings or another relative, playing with a gun, or out of anger shooting the relative. As I forestated, it's too late to say I'm sorry when they're gone. So invest in the good trigger lock at the very minimum. And for even heightened security, make certain that you have it in a lockbox. I'm only saying this if there are several people in the home. If you live by yourself, then that's not an issue. If you live with your companion or your spouse, then maybe that's not an issue either. Just you two know about the weapon in the house, and you keep it in a place where it's accessible to you in the event, God forbid, that someone breaks into your home invasion or what have you. You are prepared. It's really that simple. So, trigger lock at the bare minimum, a lockbox, and if you have a lockbox, I would advise you to find a place in the house where you can lock the box, perhaps to a wall or to a baseboard. Get you an eye screw, a real thick bolt or eye screw, and chain it to the wall so it can't be removed from the home, the lockbox. Most people, when they buy gun cases or boxes, it's usually about the size of a small cash box. And it's portable. You can pick it up and walk away with it. So I would advise you to mount it to the wall. And so you're making it more difficult for the person to access it. So if you leave the gun lock and graduate to the lockbox, if possible, a safe about that big, maybe 2 feet tall, about a foot wide. Get your safe, and again, mount that to the wall and put your gun in it if you have children. But you figure out the strategies. Now, while I'm sitting here, if anyone out there listening to me right now have a specific situation, I'm speaking in generality right now, but if anyone has a specific situation that you would like me to address as it relates to gun safety for you and or your family inside your home, please let me know what your personal specific situation is, and I can give you a more specific answer, because everybody has a different situation. Everybody has a different home makeup as far as the people that live with them. So I want to emphasize this as well. If someone were to invade your home and you are there and your family is there, it's going to be difficult to access your weapon in a timely manner when it's locked in a safe. I would venture to say that it's easier to get to the trigger lock or mechanism than it is to go into a safe, because first of all, adrenaline is perhaps going to be flowing. You could be nervous, you could be scared, you could be a distance away from it, it could be in another part of the house, and you have to go and access it. You may have to memorize a combination lock, if you don't have a key safe or lock or box. So you must take this into consideration. I personally wouldn't want to try to find my weapon in a combination lock type safe when someone is breaking in my house and I can hear it, or my alarm is going off and I'm trying to dial this combination lock. Me personally, even though most of the time I believe that I have the wherewithal or the presence of mind to do so, it's easier to access a key to a lock, but at the same time, depends on where it's at in the house again. But understand this, timing is everything. You need to have your weapon accessible to you. It doesn't need to be in the attic, 1 or 2 floors downstairs from you or above you. It doesn't need to be in a closet somewhere in another room and you reside in another room, or you sleeping in another room. It doesn't make sense at all, because as I said, timing is of the essence when someone is breaking into your home, and you want to have your weapon near you. When I was in the military, we had that drilled in our heads. Never sleep apart from your weapon. Your rifle is your friend. Your gun is your friend. Keep it nearby so that you can easily access it. Okay? Remember this. So again, when you have a family and you have a weapon, a firearm in your home, consider and act upon keeping it locked up. And don't broadcast it to your children where it's located at, or anybody else in the family for the most part, especially someone is not mature enough to have that information. Why are you telling anyone outside your home in the first place? Okay, this is Brother Teacher. So long.